Okay, I had to do a major relocation of the fuel filter. This is underneath the wheel well. I'm showing it to you from the bottom because that's where I installed it from. It's not totally installed yet because I don't have the proper nuts for these things because Summit didn't provide them in their kit. But I rerouted the fuel lines. That's the input. The output is over there somewhere. And there's the pressure gauge pointing up so that you can see it from the passenger compartment. I think I'll be able to reach this and remove it from the passenger compartment now that I've got it installed. But if not, I'll have to take off the rocker panel, and there's a panel that goes right under here in order to service the fuel filter. So, but that's where it's going to be. Okay, the nuts are easily accessible that hold that fuel filter on. Easily accessible from the wheel well. I only have 3 of the bolts in because I have to go purchase some nuts that fit these properly so that I can tighten them properly. But that's where it looks like that's where you see it from the inside of the wheel well. And last but not least, that's what it looks like from the top. I can see the fuel pressure gauge so that I'll know when it's time to service it. And I think what I'll be able to do is just remove the nuts from the inside of the wheel well and just pull that whole thing up and work on it. This is the fuel line that goes to the throttle body. I don't know if I can get a video of the connection to it. I think before I tighten that down, I didn't tighten them down yet. I think before I tighten them down, I'm going to loop the one that comes from the back of the car behind that one. That will give me just a tiny bit extra length on the one that goes to the throttle body because it's being held to the side by the one that comes from the rear of the car. There was just too much going on over here. I couldn't imagine working on that. It's going to be hard enough to get to some of those relays if I need to replace them, but much easier than if this fuel pump is, or fuel filter, I keep saying pump, if the fuel filter is in the way. So as you can see, I could reach that with it still attached to the inner fender well. So I probably can't put it back on with one hand, but I think it's going to work out fairly well and serve the purpose I need it to serve. So this will be easier to do once I tighten the nuts on the hold down bracket, because the filter won't be moving while I'm trying to tighten it. At any rate, I think it's going to work for me. I did connect those lines prior to drilling the holes, and I have a right angle drill attachment that I used to get up in there, and it was pretty easy to do, really. Would have been near impossible without the right angle attachment, though. Like I said, well, let's try it. Let's say I didn't loosen the bolts in the back, so it's not going to be easy to pull that out as I presumed. But let me take those bolts off and let's see if I can pull it up to service it. Well, there you have it. I attached the line to it, and it's fully serviceable for just taking off those nuts from the inner wheel well. So I'm not going to put this back on now. I am going to put the camera down. I'm going to tighten these connections, and I will make that one vertical and check to see that it goes back down in there, but I'm sure it will. I'll just verify, and then when I get the nuts, all I have to do is put them on. So I was able to service that from the top, but it wasn't without incident. If you recall, whenever I was putting the AN fittings on the fuel lines, one of them didn't go on very well. Apparently it was the one going into the fuel pump, and it fell out, so I had to reinsert that, and I'm sure I got it in there a lot better this time. So maybe it was a good thing that it came out now rather than after I got the car on the road. But that's going to be a wrap for today. Basically got the fuel pump, or fuel filter, I keep saying fuel pump, fuel filter mounted, and I got the air conditioner compressor mounted, which led me to relocate or change my plans about the location of the fuel filter. So that's it for today.